4 on the theme Improving Cognitive Readiness for Project Management Teams. We are privileged to have with us as expert speaker Mr. Jesus Martinez Almela, Chairman, Council of Delegates, and former President of IPMA. Mr. Almela has been a member of IPMA over a long period of time. He has handled senior positions in the IPMA Executive Board, and his contribution as President IPMA has been very significant. He has been the driving force behind the expansion of the project management movement across the Global Federation of IPMA, most importantly, South America, and has been largely instrumental in IPMA's outreach with the United Nations. A business and project developer at global level in more than 40 countries worldwide, Mr. Almela has over 30 years of experience in the field of engineering and project program and portfolio management. As founder of BioAgro Projects Biotech, he directs programs and projects worldwide in various sectors in multicultural and complex environments. Mr. Almela is an agricultural and biosystems engineer and certified project portfolio director level A and Delta. He is the owner of 5 invention patents, utility models, and has authored and co-authored 8 books and more than 70 scientific articles. We once again express our gratitude, and we are honored to have him as our expert speaker for the session. And now I request Mr. Jesus Martinez Almela to take the floor and initiate the proceedings. Over to you, sir.
Thank you to you, dear Vishal, and you are really very welcome. It's my honor again to share with you all, colleagues and friends in our association in India. Because you presented to me, I will shift this part of the presentation. Only underline that my humble contribution can be because during the last 40 years, closely 40 years experience as practitioner. So I am not an academic, I am not a theoric, and my humble contribution can be because I was lucky for working with many people, with many cultures, in many regions for many years. And I think that this allows to me to have a picture about the diversity and the transcendency of humanity. And this is the reason why I love to identify myself as a devout evangelizer of competences for project management, especially for human development. Today, the knowledge is not enough. So knowledge is only a piece for the reskilling needed. And I would like to address my contribution today, just focusing firstly about the whys. Thinking and reflecting with you, sharing with you some fresh information about where we are. So regarding the worldwide context, and especially in the change of this context. Many of you, I'm sure that you are aware, familiar with the acronym VUCA, the VUCA world, and still many people speak about the VUCA world, but we are not for a longer in the VUCA world. We are for a couple of years in a new dimension who is absolutely different. During this period of time, more than 20 years, from strategy, from business, from organizations, we deal with this volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. And during the last probably 10, 14 years, we try to manage this VUCA context with a different vision, changing volatility by vision, changing uncertainty by a different understanding, addressing complexity by means clarity, and dealing with the ambiguity by means agility. Agility is a nice word that many people utilize dealing with a VUCA world. This is fine, but again, this is not enough. This is not enough because something break the wall a couple of years ago. Not only because this is not a disruption itself. We need to recognize that a set of factors contribute to change this context. So this is relevant addressing the topic of today, because why we need to reskill, why we need to focus in cognitive readiness, what we need to improve, and we need to find out different competences dealing with this context. The message and the argumentation, the rationality is because this VUCA world, who we managed during the last 20, 30 years, evolve into this bunny world because one of the tools, approaches that we defend during this period of time was we need to deal with the complexity, with the uncertainty by mindfulness, and we need to become más suitable dealing with the challenges. But yes, we need that, but it's not enough. Will be not enough because the BANI, the new context, the BANI is the acronym about brittle, and brittle is a little bit more than fragile in English. The English word brittleness is something more than fragility. So the definition of BANI serves to describe the situation for the current and for the next generation, not only for business, behind the business. So we need to deal how we intend to reskill in this new scenario. This bunny behind brittleness, we need to face a context who is absolutely anxious, who is absolutely non-linear, and of course, for many, many people, the majority is absolutely incomprehensible. So how we must deal this bunny situation? So we need to face new perspectives, and we need to accurate descriptions from the current bunny situation through emotional states and causal connections related with the reskilling needed dealing with this bunny context. So in that context, we will need absolutely different skills, different competences. Let me share the whys. This information is also free in many search engines. You can download this information, not only in English, but World Economic Forum published regularly. This was the last one in the middle of the pandemic, addressing the reskilling needs for the market and labor market till after tomorrow. Because 2025 is after tomorrow. Okay. Last year, also the World Economic Forum addressed another nice document regarding how to deal with the future through our youth generation, because we must count in the youth generation, and we need to build something different, but keeping on board. And this year, just a few weeks ago, this was a last publication regarding the skills for a global green. Not because only green, it's because there, this report also provides relevant information facing dealing with many biases, many cognitive biases. So this can help to have a more accurate picture about the needs regarding reskilling. Okay, you have a look. After tomorrow, that means 2025, the 50%. So the research are showing us that the 50% of the worldwide employees will need a kind of reskilling, in which skills is basically people competences. This regarding analytical thinking, addressing a different view facing for innovation needs, as well, and active learning and learning about the strategy, dealing with complex problem solving, critical working and analysis, much more creativity, originality, for sure. Leadership and social influence, dealing and monitoring technology, being more competent in terms of resilience, stress tolerance and flexibility, and reskilling and dealing with the problem solving and ideation. And again, if you reflect about, it's not about methods, methodology, level of knowledge. We are addressing that 50% of the labor market worldwide need to reskill. In practically 90% of the reskilling is regarding competences, soft skills. If you have a look inside, um, it's interesting how the research um, uh, inform us about the tendency, about the decreasing demand in certain labors and the increasing demand of certain ones. If you take a look for the 20 most increasing demand in the horizon of 2025, project management is in the middle of the table. So, and we will have a gap regarding more or less 2.5 million project managers that we will have not. So the demand, the gap regarding the need of project management in the horizon of 2025 will be more than 2 million people. Because the reposition tax. But this is not enough. So this picture also must be settled up in this approach. This is another research made recently by the consultancy PricewaterhouseCoopers. And the research also offered to us 3 visions regarding the so-called the 3 worlds, the orange world, the green world, and the blue world. And if you have a look in the description, the orange will focus regarding the need to make things simple in the organizations, for the groups, for the projects, for the people. So working more in the smallest way means co-creation, means co-working. The second world, who is the green world, it's related with how is scaling the companies. It's the business is a new approach. The model of traditional capitalism will be not enough because it's related with another 3 worlds, the blue ones, who is regarding the concept of corporate. Corporate will be the king. And this is related because behind of the professionalism, behind of the business, it's something more. It's regarding the social responsibility. It's a different dimension that any kind of organization should manage. So we need to reskill the skills of the people, but also we need to reskill the approach in terms of corporative approaches. We will have not too much time to discuss, to present the deeper description, the different challenges in these 3 dimensions, these 3 worlds, orange, blue, and green. But let's have a really, really swift approach. The whys in these 3 worlds is because first is the business fragmentation for many reasons. That's artificial intelligence era. It's regarding the impact of the COVID and the lessons learned. Now it's because a new war start exploding in Europe, and many other will comes, hopefully during the next year. A new globalization. So the globalization as we understood and we managed during the last 35, 40 years, it will be absolutely different. Okay. It's also regarding the, as previously I mentioned, the corporate integration is a new and absolutely approach, because this is regarding with the sustainability needed. We cannot continue making business and managing societies as we did during the last 100 years period. So, and this is related with this concept of qualifications. So how we can fix these different skills, because again, this is regarding a corporate approach. It's about organizational competences. It's about governance. So we need to feed the skills for managing and governing organizations with individuals. And this is not simple. I will back later on. Now I would like to invite you to reflect with me regarding the next 3 slides. The one, of course, is related with our current scenario regarding the advancement of the technology, how impact. If we compare the evolution of the technology during the last millennium, and we focus practically starting with the real recognized first revolution, was the Industrial Revolution at the end of the 18th century. I have just these 3 comparative nations, quite different: Germany, Great Britain, and China, but also worldwide. So the black one regarding the worldwide evolution, regarding the advancement of the technology. The green will be Great Britain, and the red Germany, and the blue China. Have a look in the middle between the second and the third revolution. So the beginning of the second ones was about, of course, mechanical engineering, the managing and evolution of the internal combustion engines, any kind of engines, steaming and not steaming. And the third one, what happens practically 1 century later. It's practically at the beginning of the 60s. Beginning of the 60s, beginning of the 70s, when internet appears in our lives. This was so-called the third industrial revolution. But now, many countries are not in the fourth industrial revolution. Some countries are dealing with the fifth industrial revolution in less than 25 years. So how we must deal in this context? It's acceleration. It's an exponential society. It's an exponential organization. So we need to reshape the future of the market, the business, and there, more than ever, projects and project management are the tool for the change, because have a look to the effects that will be impact, the trends regarding the next practically 30, 35 years from now. The first, it's the process regarding the automatization and virtualization. More than 50% of the today activities will be absolutely virtualized. The future of the connectivity will increase in the 80% of the world, coping the population. And bear in mind that the forecast for the population in 2015 will be 9 billion people. We have now close to 8 billion people. So the distributed infrastructure, it's more than 75% of the enterprise generated data, and this processment for computing. We are talking about the quantum computers, and this will represent a huge, enormous market, more than $1 trillion, where will be applied. Firstly, because all the fields related with artificial intelligence. All because the future, meaning regarding programming, the words, and more than 10% of the global GDP will be reallocated for those who manage this trust architecture. That means that the impact in the next 35 years also will present different scenarios, different innovative industries. We will see new boosts regarding the biorevolution. System calculated, forecasted in close to 50% more. New generation of materials for many reasons. And of course, in terms of another huge challenge is the future of clean energy. The world is immersed in another crisis of energy, and we need to develop. So if we don't boost this new pilot, big revolution, next materials, and new future of clean technologies, that means portfolio of programs, of projects with skilled and competent people in competent organization by means maturity in project government will be really difficult to manage in many countries, in many contexts, in many industries, the impact of that. And in the bottom, again, is something related with the individual. Let me to comment briefly this slide, because APM, as you know, is IPMA association in United Kingdom. This is a new research from last August, call it the 3 levels of decision making in practice. It's a really British cultural approach, really smart, how to detect, to reflect, and to adapt the factors influencing critical projects decision making. And have a look to the 3 columns. It's regarding to detect. Detect what? Detect the habitual decision-making practices. And then to reflect. Reflect about what? Reflecting regarding decision-making practices. And then to adapt. What? Adapt the deliberate decision-making practice. That means from the basic ability to gather and respond to someone, to the ability and to self-criticize cognitive aspects for decision-making, is regarding the own reflection for self-assessment regarding the attitudes, beliefs, and constructs. And then, for sure, to adapt. And adapting the ability to engage within any kind of social inquiry, to investigate and to improve how we dialogue, the dynamics of this kind of dialogue, and to making distinction dealing with the dilemmas regarding changing circumstances. Again, the Bani context. Okay. So what? What competence will be necessarily in this new Bani context? First, remember, competence is not equal to applied knowledge. It's much more. Competence, the individual competence, is the application of knowledge, skills, and abilities in order to achieve a desired result. And this is really clear and well explained in our ICB for the domains of project, program, and portfolio management. As yes, many of you knows me, I am a humble agricultural engineer, and I love to use this periodic table of Mendeleev chemical elements, showing that the molecules of competences are very similar to the chemical molecules, the atoms. The blue ones are 5 elements of competence regarding practice: the context, the boundary, inside and outside organization. Yes, we need a strategy. We need to improve our competences for governance, for the processes, keeping regulations, but we need to be aware about this special competence regarding who keep power and interest and the impact in the project, because culture and values. So it's not the same managing projects in India that in Finland or in Chile in South America. The context ever will impact in the project and in the project manager. The green is the easy part. It's many other standards talk about methods, methodology, tools, and techniques. This is very well known. Yes, artificial intelligence will help, but the most transcendent is about the 10 elements of people, behavior. And addressing this approach by means cognitive readiness, the first one is the king or the queen, depend of you like it. Self-reflection and self-management. How we can pretend to manage people if we cannot manage ourselves. And this is related with the second one, personal reflection and reliability, because we need to be excellent communicators. We need to build, to make, to facilitate relations and engagement. And yes, by means leadership. And leadership is not authority only. It's not managing, it's leading people. And this will boost our competence of teamwork, dealing with conflict and crisis, making possible by means negotiation, resourcefulness, and having permanently in mind that we need results orientation. So how we can improve that one? Yes, by means the another two pillars of our standards, defining different competences in projects, program, and in organizations. But I would like not to go deeper regarding this kind of different competences, absolutely related with the cognitive readiness. And this will be my last part of today's contribution, is regarding so what behind competences. And there is when the cognitive readiness takes his power. Let me to introduce, may some one of you are aware about that one, but the framework for cognitive readiness. So as before I said, in the post-VUCA context, mindfulness is quite important, but this is not enough. Mindfulness was an excellent tool, but now we need a different approach. So when the cognitive intelligence will help to address social intelligence and emotional ones. And there is the button for the reskilling. And in DIPA, it's a lot of people who working in this so-called neuroscience. We need also to take over thinking in how we can reskill this framework by means recognizing the cognitive biases, because the biases will impact in these three dimensions. So cognitive readiness, theoretically, is defined as you are seeing in the slide. Okay. And this is quite relevant because it's focusing the mental preparation. So it's not only regarding, yes, I know, it's not regarding to the different levels of Bloom, it's not regarding how to increase and improve my level of knowledge, it's much more. It's about to build capability. It's regarding which are my abilities now and which one I need in the future, my motivation, my personal dispositions, because I need also, again, to come back to the first element of competence of people, who is self-reflection and self-management, because I need to adapt and to manage myself and others in a changing environment who will impact in my project, in my program, and in my portfolio. And there, we need to building blocks, and we need to manage, and we need to go deeper, building something that today we have, but will be needed a more accurate and a more in-depth knowledge about the meanings of the cognitive intelligence, emotional intelligence, and social intelligence. Yes, enabling by the mindfulness, but it's not enough. So we need to go much deeper. We need to drink in the neuroscience and the cognitive and social psychology, and behind, because again, the meaning is the cognitively ready to perform and to be successful in delivering some kind of deliverables, some kind of outcomes. Okay, you will have a copy of this presentation. So the mindfulness, yes, but this is not enough. So we need to focus in the future content of these three so-called intelligences. Okay, and there, this can be an excellent tool looking to improve our next standard. So we are at IPMA working now in the ICB 5. And we, in my humble opinion, this cognitive readiness approach will help to deal with the current bunny world, okay? Because the bunny world is a disruptive time. So further and new complexities in the era of the chaos will help individuals and organization to trying to succeed, okay? Making it short, we need to work. We need more investigation, more research regarding how we'll be in the bottom of our future curricula for education and training, technical hard skills, and the new relational soft skills as part of this cognitive readiness approach. And I love to match this slide because this is the project professional decision-making style profile, which is the basis for the cognitive readiness. So have a look in the quadrant, in this mark. We have as well, in the bottom, you will have the two hemispheres of our brain. And who is thinking oriented and who is doing, I mean, action oriented. And this is related with the preference in task or technical address or people and social address. And this is related with conceptual and behavior, or because analytic and directive. It's not a question to be one or another. It's a question to reflect, to consider, and to self-assess ourselves where we are. Because this is absolutely related with the key message today, is regarding the cognitive complexity. And this is related with two factors: the tolerance for the ambiguity and the needs for any kind of structure. So I invite you to reflect regarding this nice picture, because this is the bottom of the cognitive approach for that one. And this is related with the main concept as well. It's transformation and change. Transformation and change as the pillar of this acronym. I will explain what it means, because we have today with us also Ivano Di Filippo, who is my partner in this initiative worldwide, inside with another person who is Becky Williams. And we are working, Ivano, he works for many years in this world. He's a neuroscientific, and he's the lead of this initiative. I am just a humble cooperator, and I love to compare and to combine this wine with the stages of post-resilience, because transformation and change, remember, is another element of competence of the ACB, and is again absolutely related with the cognitive readiness. Last year, Ivano, Rebecca, and myself, but was Ivano the speaker presenting in our research conference, was made virtual mode. This first call for making this approach feasible. Okay? CREDIN acronyms mean cognitive readiness in disruptive time project. So this year, we will present again in Belgrade next month of June in the 10 International IPMA Research Conference with this topic, value co-creation in project society, a new contribution regarding the cognitive readiness and how the cognitive readiness, future cognitive readiness, will help in this bunny world. I would like to conclude taking the occasion to invite to all of you interested in join us in this initiative, improving the CREDINT project. You feel free to contact of any of 3 ones if you would like to participate as we regularly meet in virtual mode, just sharing, just wrap-upping, sparring regarding the meanings and the meaning, because we have not many responses. So today I just try to approach to you. First part of my message was, there we are. This is the new world, it's a new concept. Second one is regarding facts, research. The third one is how we can combine our current standards and based in competences, how we can take over this initiative for research in cognitive and readiness in disruptive times, improving especially the area of people competence regarding behavior, because this needed of reskilling more than 50% of the labor market. And this is absolutely full of needs of projects, because we need to work in projects. We need in new approaches. We need to work and to improve in research, in sociology, in psychology, in labor needs. We need to build a new educational curriculums. We need to improve. We need to assess the evolution, but especially we need to find out which new competences will be needed dealing with this new bunny world. So hope that my message can be fruitful for you all. Again, namaste. Thank you so much for your attention, and happy to respond if you have any questions. Or I don't know, Vishal, you are the project manager today, so Dr. Pile, happy if we can contribute with some clarification.
Yes. Jury meeting for shortlisting of candidates, in-person interviews for shortlisted candidates to select the final awardees in each category. So this is here we will cover the point of visiting the factories and seeing their products physically.
So I think it'll be really worthwhile if we can have questions. We open the floor to more questions. It's a very interesting topic, very contextual in the present circumstances. More reasons than
21st May, and in between we will conduct 2 webinars on explaining the process and the selection process and the process to apply for the award. So
just a small request to have everyone on mute, please.
After around 15 days, and one week.
This is another conversation, Vishal.
Application within a week. Then participants will register to the website giving.
May you can mute all.
Yeah, can everyone hear me?
Yeah, you're better
yes,
now.
We can hear.
Yes, I have muted everyone. So now the floor is open, and please feel free to put up your questions.
I have one question. Thanks, Jesus. I believe you can hear me.
Jesus, you are on mute. You please unmute, Jesus.
Oh, yeah, you mute myself. Okay.
Yes,
Fine.
I actually muted everyone. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir. I am hearing you.
Okay, so it's a really interesting topic. I'm from Germany, and I have been living here from 12 years, and I can see different leadership styles, and what you have been telling to introduce these kind of topics for the next ICB 5.0. It's a really interesting and quite optimistic that IPMA has took initiative for including further this topic. So thanks a lot for looking forward and including these kind of the topics, which are the future topics for Gen Y and Gen Z. So my question is, how is it important for the leadership which has already established to change their behavior according to reskilling and accommodating new kind of change in context of different culturals and behavior like US, India, and Europe?
Thank you for your question. But this is the question of $1 billion answer. Okay, it's not easy how to change mind, how to reskill. The people by nature will never change after 8 years old or early stage. So this is why we are addressing this message worldwide. If we are looking to build a new society, a new world, we need a different approach, and we need to think in program portfolio management since the beginning. We need a governance under maturity of projects. That means to start with a different education at early stage in the school, afterward in the middle, afterward in the universities. We need to work in our curricula, because if we still train the people like 20 years ago, still now in the School of Engineering is no one matter related with skills. It's a lot of and fine and needed techniques, but many of our professions and professionals have no clue about the transcendency that they have soft skills and cognitive readiness, making possible, easy, smoothly, and sustainable their own work and their own business. So yes, the first one who made change his mind is the leader. But as well, we need to work deeper about what means leadership. Because in many countries, in many cultures, leadership is just related with the management line. It's related with authority. And leadership means something much more deeper. Um, but it's like if you love a sport, team sport, you need all the people in the right place in the right moment. You need a goalkeeper, you need advance, you need a midfield, you need a trainer, you need many things. And at the end, the degree of success or failure is because team, is because organization. But in the bottom is the skill, is the competence of each individual. And this is why we should focus in the individual competence development. And there, more than ever, the approach by means cognitive readiness. But our message is also deeper, because we are looking for what will mean cognitive readiness in the future, because we are now just discovering, trying to find out which kind of competences will be needed dealing with this bunny wolf. We have just a first approach, and we need more research. We need more contributions at global level, because culture patterns will impact. It's not the same some meanings in India, again, like in Japan, like in Spain, like in North America. And this is the challenge for the humanity. When we address, and this is why I presented this green skills report, because we need sustainability. Sustainability is not only green sustainability. It's about social sustainability. It's about identity, integrity, equality. This is the sustainability. And there we need people competence, especially in managing each one and others. Yeah? So more projects, starting by education and training. And yes, afterward, to measure that one. So the value of the professional certification based in competences is because this is not the goal. The goal is to have a picture comparing your self-assessment with the assessment made by the assessors. And there you have a period of times looking to improve, to reduce the gap detected. So certification is a tool that can help the individual and the organization to improve their level of competence, starting, of course, by cognitive readiness, helping to make much more understandable and applicable the 10 elements of people competence.
Thanks for the nice explanation, Jesus. The problem is
Well,
most of the C-suite and executive, they show the concern about new change VUCA world, but they don't have any clue. These kind of IPMA and certification can help the new generation or the new managers or the middle managers, but it's really hard to break those kind of the biases for the top management, where these kind of the courses cannot be reached, I believe. So if we are going to tailor these kind of courses or trainings, maybe for the upper management, that will be also really helpful for them to understand these new changes. Either businesses and everything has been impacted, they have already accepted these kind of the changes, but I don't know.
Sure. Again, projectification. Again, a common approach. Again, involving, engaging, keeping all the stakeholders, because we need all the people. Otherwise, we create separate worlds.
I think there's one more aspect I thought I will share with you, since you talk about Bani and brittleness. I think that in the past couple of decades, that the time period that you have mentioned, the number of startups and innovation companies that have made the existing big companies obsolete has gone up by big numbers. So that way, business models have suddenly changed over maybe a matter of months or maybe a couple of years, and made many of their workforce almost sort of partly, I would not say redundant, but need to change themselves and adapt to a new business model, a new thing which has just taken over center stage. So I think that is also something which really comes to mind. The way obsolescence, not just in technology, but also in business models, operating models. So that is what affects the workforce, because ultimately a new business model is supported by new projects.
Indeed, regarding also this assertiveness, when many people use the wording innovation, we need disruption, what it means. Because if you have not a culture of innovation, if you don't create a culture based in the right people with the right competence, you will never get a context of innovation and disruption. Because you need also to define your strategy by innovation. That means, where is your project portfolio for innovation or for transformation and change? So also, it's quite relevant to address not only individual competences, it's also organizational ones. And this is related with the degree of maturity in project in an organization. So many times, many organizations define vision, mission, values, blah, blah, blah. And well, where is the bridge connecting the corporate strategy with the project portfolio strategy? How you align culture, values, and resources in your organization. And many times when you ask the CEOs of many organizations, the people looks your eyes and said, I have no answer. I have no clue. Because many times the CEO, the knowledge regarding what means really project competence is not so clear. So we need to focus much more. So project is behind. Project is not an island, and the project management is not a hero. Project manager is an executor, but someone need to manage project managers. And this is the program, because the program will help to make business, to make feasible the organization. The project at the end helps to deliver the strategy, but someone needs also to manage the program manager. And this is the portfolio. And the portfolio is related with the corporate strategy and the governance. So if we don't create this balance, these bridges, these levels, these synergies, this holistic vision, you will lose your best project managers. Why? Because we'll emigrate, we'll leave the company.
Yes.
More questions.
Yeah, I have one. Jesus, this is Jamestown, and I remember with fondness that you visited us when you were the reigning president 2 years back. So we had.
I remember you. Welcome again.
Yeah, and this is your time. Jesus is coming next. Your Easter is coming a week ahead. So welcome, Jesus. Yeah.
So Jesus is coming to India in the Saturday before Easter. Fine.
Very good. Okay. Now the thing is, you touched upon a very relevant thing and a very pertinent thing, because of the adaptiveness. We need to project management also need to be adaptive to the disruption which is happening all around us, whether we want it or not. So when the entire world is going through a disruptive progress, let me put it that way, project management also needs to adapt, and you elaborated that very well. Okay, in all aspects of it, although you call it the cognitive abilities in the project management. The problem, especially for a developing country like us, is that while all this are good, we need to adapt in all the aspects of project management competencies, and even otherwise in the business paradigm as well. But the framework or the ecosystem in which projects exist in a country like India, for example, is not that adaptive. It's slow. For example, the procedures for contracting, the administrative procedures, the regulatory framework, etc., they're archaic. They don't change in a hurry. So while we have a plethora of ideas which are required, good, everybody knows, the actual project managers on the ground, they find it a dichotomy. It's very difficult. Because I speak with knowledge because I was the director of human resources of a large oil company, as well as I was handling very large projects at the same time. I had 2 assignments. And this is always something which is difficult to, kind of reconcile with. While it doesn't mean that denial is not solving it, but at the same time, we need to be sensitive to that while we need to plan for all this, we also need to some way or other influence the decision makers. And that's not easy to make a change that the framework changes also do happen commensurate to this. This is one dichotomy. I don't know how this is in Western countries. It might be a lot easier, but at least in a developing country like ours, is really a mammoth issue. So, what's your take on this?
You are absolutely right, but again, it's not easy. Life is not easy. Never was easy. Life is a challenge, and but I think that this people are all at international level are taking over the awareness regarding the sustainability of our humanity in the planet. Something is coming. I don't know exactly what, but something is coming and is needed. So, and this is why I am addressing changing and transformation permanently in this new Bani concept. And again, more than ever, we need to work all together. It's a global challenge. It's not about a certain cultural pattern. We need a global, real global approach, because it's a kind of a coin with different phases, polyedric many times. Okay, so we need to achieve this consensus, looking to make understandable what it means regarding the sustainability, a more equal world, a more sustainable world, a more integrative world, and this, certainly that is not easy. But I have no time to cry. I need to evangelize, to continue with the evangelization, having people like you on board that can help day after day. The revolution here is hour after hour, day after day, leading by example and showing that this is possible. Yes, we need an investment in time and resources because we must train people. We must educate people. We need to manage people. We need to monitor people. And this is time and resources. But it is possible. Many organizations, not many, but one organization in different parts of the world with different levels of organization, dimensions, etc., are doing that. And you will find small companies, one-times competitors, now cooperators, and working in networks. So, and that means a really cognitive approach dealing with the challenge of the Bani world. Is the value of co-creation. This is the topic of this year research conference. We are addressing the value of co-creation in a projected society, because we are calling about society projectification, not business projectification, because economy is only a part of the needs of our society. But we need more evangelizers like you every day, like Dr. Pillay take the lead many years ago and push you, convince you. You are on Saturday here, hearing me, and this is kind of things. So the revolution is made hour after hour by convincing committed people. It's no magic solution. And times ever will take time.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. May I don't know, Ivano, thank you for your time to be here. Do you like to add something regarding, because you was the daddy of this initiative many years ago, do you like, you are muted, you need to unmute if you like to add to our colleagues something regarding cognitive readiness, but you are muted. No, he disappeared.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we don't see you, but we hear you.
Okay, just a minute for. Anyway, if you can hear me, I want to thank you for the very pretty presentation, quite professional, and for the organization that gave us the chance to present it. Of course, as you have said, cognitive readiness should be improved at team level for being the chance for a project to reach the success. As you already said, of course, projects do not reach the success by just following the technical aspect of project management we all know, but of course, they need of humans that take the project to success, and in particular, as you already said, all together, because a team is not represented by just the project manager, but all the team together. And as Russell Archibald, that is with Daniele Di Filippo and I, the pioneer of this project, a project born just when a project manager has made, and more when so it
I think
means
we'll lose.
that of course we need to relation one another in order to play the game together. Of course, we should go deeper and deeper in this term. I did not ready to take the word and explain it, but of course, Jesus already explained it very well. What we have to reach is the chance to work together at an high performance mode. What some culture do not know is that the human mind usually work with just a heuristic mode, that is heuristic intelligence. What we should reach is being able to work with all our potential value of our mind, and that is just being aware of our mental path. In this moment, I'm aware that some emotions are rising up, and while they are rising up, I can control them better than if I wouldn't. So, what's the trick word? Is just be aware of this moment, aware of the mental path I'm using in order to convey what my thought should be. You have to consider an important aspect of cognitive readiness. Being ready, cognitively speaking, means that I prepare my mind to sustain something more, as to say, I wanted to reach the maximum my potential, and I can try my mind day after day in order to reach this condition. And my mind, neuroscientific explain what it happen is that neuroplasticity, of course, can help us to create new networks, neural networks, in order
Yes.
to create
Yes,
new
that's
chance for convey and to front new situations. Of course,
yes. I think
in
that's very well
better
said. Very well said.
this concept. Please, Jesus.
Thank you, Ivano. Vishal, more questions.
So we would there be any more questions? We open the floor, I think, for one more question. In case you have, please put it up.
You have to ask, in my opinion, if you prefer to lead a project as a project manager, or if you would like to lead this project by the help of all your team, especially in situations that are, as Jesus explained, that is no forecast, not just not in the chance to forecast. In
Yes.
this situation, you need the help of your team, of course, and to have it, you have to create just a tuning with all the members of your team, and to create it, of course, there's not just read something we use to read about leadership, or just have notions about technical project management. We need to know how mind works.
Yes. So I think with that a wonderful presentation by you, Jesus, and also by Filipino, the inputs that we received, I think really relevant to the current times. So as you said, that change is going to be the new constant, and we can really not go back to the old models of very, very stable business models. So I think at an organization level, we need to look at not just competition, but cooperation and value co-creation, and at an individual level, self-assessment, which is so integral to our certification assessment system, so important. Self-reflection is so important, and building in new competences by way of people competences, and having ourselves cognitive ready to face these new upcoming risks and new complexities, I think would be the key to success at an individual and organizational level. So thank you once again for sharing your time, taking your time out for this, answering the questions so beautifully, and a wonderful session. So thank you. Thank you to everyone present. Thank you, Mr. Jesus Martinez.
Thank you
Thank
to
you,
you.
Mr. Jesus, and we're very happy with the presentation. You have thrown a lot of new things before us. We are going to chew it, and then we'll come back with our new thinking, particularly in the ICB 5. Some of them will come. The points will come.
You are again very welcome. Thank you for keeping in the loop. Wishing you excellent weekend, and we will keep posted. Okay, enjoy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you. Nice day. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the second subjective question again of 10 marks would be the improvement in